Yes, we are live. All right. Welcome, rock stars. What's happening? We are good with this. There you go. Yes, we managed to pull it off. Good to see everybody. It is your coach Borino on this lovely Tuesday. Every day is a good day. Day above ground is a good day. Challenging, yes. Difficult, absolutely. We'll talk about it. But it is a good day. We'll get through this. We'll get through this. That's my message. I'm going to repeat it over and over. We'll get through this. We'll get through this. It's going to be all right. I have some practical stuff I want to share with you. I want to hear your questions, your concerns. I want to talk to you. I want to make sure that I can provide as much inspiration, information as I possibly can to you guys. Good to have you, everybody. Johnny's here. Dan, Karen, Kim, Terry, and Mr. John is checking in. Hola to you. Pamela, nice to have you. Welcome, you guys. Lovely to see you on this broadcast. We do this frequently now. I want to do it daily. Bring you some words of comfort, some practical stuff, some things that will help you get through this crazy virus situation. 2 months ago, who would have thought, right? January, we thought, oh, it's going to be a great market. It looked like the spring market was starting up, a lot of demand, low inventory, listings flying off the shelf. Bam! Here we are facing this challenge. So I have some things for you that I think you will like and you will appreciate. Ask some questions, post them in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat and chatting with you, answering the questions. I'll stay as long as you want me to. We'll talk. All right. Now, focus is the answer. Focus is the answer. What you're going to focus on right now is going to determine whether this is going to be the shittiest time of your life and you're going to end up in a crisis financially, mentally, business-wise, or you're going to thrive. Focus. And I have to discipline myself. I have to work on it because just like for you, I'm not pretending this is easy. I'm not pretending this is fun. I'm not pretending this is not complicated. It is difficult. It is challenging. It is complicated. It is putting a strain on all of us as a society, as a business, as an industry. But the answer is focus. Because if anything we can learn and practice and get better at is what we focus on. Because there are things you control and things that are completely out of your control. Like, let me give you an example. If things go well, let's say things are going really well. You don't control how many listings you take, you don't control how much money you make, you don't control your clients, you don't control the market. There are a lot of things out of your control. So why is it that 2-3 months ago we were all happy, some of us, things were going well, and now we're not? Focus. How much time do you spend on social media? Be honest. And how much of that time is spent uplifting others, sharing good information, being helpful, lending an ear, encouraging people, and how much of it is just consuming shit you've seen over and over that doesn't feel good, that doesn't help you in any way, doesn't inspire, doesn't teach you anything, or it doesn't teach somebody else where you're not learning anything from it? Be honest. Focus. Where is your focus? Are you still focused on things you do not control, complaining about the stupid virus, complaining about the economy, complaining and worrying about the market, complaining and being scared shitless over what's going to happen a month from now, 2 months from now? Where is this going to end? Yes, we're concerned. Yes, we're worried. But what do you focus on right now? What questions are you asking right now? What questions are you asking right now? Here's one of the good questions you can ask. What can I do right now that'll be the most productive thing that would help my community, that will help my family, that will help my prospects, my leads, my tribe, that will help people around me, that will help this world, that would help this situation? What can I do right now? What are the most productive things I can be doing right now? What do you control? You control your thoughts, you control your focus, you control your beliefs, your expectations, you control your actions. Those are the things you have control over. What you focus on, what you expect, what you believe, what you think, because your thoughts with your focus create your emotions. And this is hard to understand and believe. You are 100% responsible for the emotions you feel, the thoughts you think, the actions you take. And if sitting on social media, now I see the irony, yes, you're watching this video on social media, but here's the difference. We're here, friends, to learn something, to get inspired, to move forward. Because let me throw something at you, and I don't mean to freak you out. I'm not a fearmonger, but think about this. What if we are under current circumstances for the next 12 months? Ponder that for a second. What if the way things are today will not change for the next year? Is that possible? I don't know. Nobody really knows. But what if? Just entertain that idea. Humor me for a second. I'll tell you what would happen. Some of us, some of you guys, awesome rock stars, resourceful, powerful, confident, competent, we'd figure out a way. We already figured out a way. Life has not stopped. Have you eaten today? Have you had breakfast today? Have you had lunch today? Did you drink coffee? I'm enjoying my lovely cappuccino. We are in crisis. We are in quarantine. The shit is going on. And I'm enjoying this beautiful. This is from Nespresso. We got the Nespresso machine. And the recent order included a Hawaiian coffee as a little bonus. We got a little perk. If you order a certain number of those boxes, you get extra. Some of you probably enjoy it as much as I do. This fucking thing is delicious. I don't have much to complain about. You get my point? So what if the only way you can conduct business and live your life under somewhat normal circumstances, in quotes of course, is the way it is right now? With the restrictions in place, with the social distancing in place, with no physical contact and all these things, no open houses. I'm here to tell you guys there is always a way. And I'll tell you why. And this is the most important thing I'm going to give you today. The core of your business and the success or failure of your business stands on one word. One word. And there it is. Communication. As long as you and I can communicate, as long as I can get some kind of helpful, inspirational, cool information to you, as long as you can reach out to people, as long as you can be visible, you can have presence and offer some type of message that somewhat resonates with your audience, we're good. Because in great times and in challenging times, in awesome markets and in depression, in recession economy and in the booming economy, if you analyze every single thing you do that leads to dollars, that leads to service, which those two are connected, more service, better service, more dollars, all of that stands in communication. Now, of course, there are a bunch of ways you can do that. The old-fashioned way, modern way, digital, traditional, face-to-face, phone, texting. You have all these channels. But they all mean the same thing. If I get a postcard from a real estate agent, that's a form of communication. If you create a little video where you tell people, hey, this is a brand new listing on 1234 Oak Street. It's a 4-bedroom, lovely house, recently remodeled in a very nice, quiet cul-de-sac. Would you like to know more about it? I'll be more than happy to send you the price, photographs, and more information on it. Text me back with the word yes. That's a communication. That, by the way, would be a pretty cool little video, right? It's all about communication. And right now, some channels have been removed, like an open house. Like knocking on a door of an expired listing right now may not be the best strategy in most cases. But it doesn't mean you cannot communicate. It doesn't mean there are no alternatives. There's always an alternative. If you cannot hand them the expired package, you can mail it to them. Speaking of expired listings, you can text them, you can email them, you can call them. You can put them in a mailing list. You can send them bomb videos, one-to-one videos. You can have a sequence of videos pre-recorded specifically for expired listings where you talk to them about, it's a bummer things didn't sell, but as you can see by recent market statistics, and this is for March 2020, while we are under quarantine, there are still homes being listed and sold. So if you are in a position where you don't have a choice or would like to do it right now because something is either pressuring you or something would pull you, I'll be happy to talk to you. Let's set up a virtual meeting. You can do that. My wife, Anna, she runs a very successful staging company, And of course, staging requires her to visit people's homes and do consultations and evaluations and educate people and walk people through the process of preparing home for staging, which now, of course, she can do. Yesterday, she was, I hope she's not watching. I don't know if she's, I'll tell you anyway, it doesn't matter. She was in her pajamas with a cute top, but bottom was pajamas, on her phone like this. And her client, a seller that's preparing the property for the market, who does not have a choice, but they will have to sell, was on the other side, walking through the property with their phone, showing Hannah the place. And Hannah was writing notes and giving points, doing a virtual consultation with the client. There's always a way. There's always a way. And you know what she discovered? She can do this remotely. That even when this thing blows over, there may be times where this is a better way. Because, and this is the cool part, she can have a client in California on the other side of the coast doing consultations now. It doesn't matter where they are. You can have a virtual meeting, video meeting, Zoom meeting, FaceTime meeting, Skype meeting with client in Hawaii, in Europe, in Asia, doesn't matter. And many of you are already doing it. But now what's going to happen, it's going to become part of your communication. So even though it's a shitty deal, trust me, I don't like this thing any more than anybody else. I hate it. We will survive. Even if it lasts for a long time, there's always a way, because it's all based on communication. All your marketing, all your follow-up, all the reaching out to your sphere of influence, to your prospects, to your leads, to your existing clients, past clients, it's just a form of communication. So what we need to rethink now is, what do we control? And how do we incorporate communication so we still build trust and relationship and connection with our prospects? And this is what it's cool that today we have the technology that a few years ago didn't have. We have the means where back, Jesus, when I started doing videos and live broadcasts, it cost thousands of dollars. I still have some of the equipment, although some of it is now kind of museum pieces. But I spent thousands of dollars to be able to what I do now, what I can do. I don't know if you saw my live video. I did a live on Sunday in our backyard with my smartphone. That's the beautiful thing. What can you do? What can you focus on to bring the message to the people who want to hear from you, need to hear from you, need the reassurance? What communication channels can you open now? So I will have an invitation for you. There is nothing to buy. But Hannah and I are putting together a virtual boot camp of digital communication. We will focus mainly on video. We will also talk about how to do Facebook Lives like this one, how to do open house videos, digital virtual open houses. She's been doing them forever. How to promote your listings, how to communicate with your clients, how to establish yourself as the digital presence who is known in the marketplace, who has the credibility, who has the status. It's going to be really cool. How to do cool little videos with no expensive equipment. You don't have to have television background or any of that. So it's coming. It's for you, and here's the best part. You have to sign up for it, but it's going to be free. I was going to charge a couple $1,000, $1,500, something like that. We had a meeting this morning with Hannah. It's going to be free. We're going to go to some of her listings too, where she's going to show you some of the tricks she uses to promote listings, promote properties, because here's where it's cool. Not only will you learn how to do that, now you can incorporate it in your listing presentation, in your consultation with the sellers. We'll tell them, well, here's an example of what we're going to do for you to protect your health, our health, and still do our job. So that's coming. Watch for it. There'll be a link. You're going to sign up. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very interactive. There'll be homework. There'll be assignments. You're going to be up to speed in no time. It is no big deal. We're going to cover things like, what do I talk about? What do I do with my hands? How do I look better on camera? What some of the good topics are? What kind of gear I need? What kind of equipment? How do I get this up and running? We also are going to include FaceTime. I'm going to walk you through Zoom. I use Zoom all the time. Very cool tool. And they have a package that's free that you can use now for listing presentations, consultations, follow-up, and all that cool stuff. So that's coming. But going back to this, how can you communicate? So think, what can you do? Video, big time. Texting, big time. One-on-one videos, where you just record a little video on your phone, send it to a prospect, send it to a lead, send it to an existing client, or just send it to somebody who's on your sphere, somebody who needs to be reached out to. I have a friend, very dear friend, who lives in the neighborhood, very close friend of ours, whose family originally, years ago, generation back or 2 generations back, came to the U.S. from Italy. And they're in trouble down there. His family's in Rome, and they're in dire straits. It's pretty bad. And so I've been just communicating with him, just texting, supporting. There's no business behind it. There's no agenda behind it other than a friend who is in need of another friend to just share and to get some support and get love. There are a lot of people out there like that. And they look up to you for leadership, for confidence, for guidance, and for one word, and that word is important. Write these down. What people need now is to lower the fear and anxiety, which is normal, and increase certainty. And you will get plenty of questions like, well, how's the market? Is this a good time to sell? Friends, remember this. Your communication needs to be based on facts, guidance, not speculation, and no neediness. Like, oh shit, it's hard to get listings. It's hard to make a buck. I need this commission. That's the last thing. And I know it's hard. And I know some of you are really worried, seriously worried. How am I going to get paid? How am I going to pay my mortgage and feed my kids? I understand that. And just like you are worried, there are millions of people, billion people around the world wondering the same. The best thing you can do is communicate. Reach out, keep reaching out, keep being present, showing the guidance. This is who you need to become. Watch this. There's this crazy storm going throughout the world. And there are few individuals, you being one of them, who emerge as leaders. Unmovable, unstoppable, solid. Because their focus is not on, how am I going to crazy survive? Am I going to survive this business? Where am I going to, next money is going to come from? Corona, this and where, Corona. Not the noise. You simply shift your focus. You stay present. You say, well, it's pretty crazy out there. We've never been through anything like this before. We've been through similar shit. I mean, if you read history, you know this is not the first epidemic, and I'm sure it's not the last one. We managed. We'll manage this one too. So no speculation. Give solid answers. This is what I know. There have been 74 new listings in the last 7 days in our area. So there are some people who choose to sell right now. And under their circumstances, that was a smart decision. That was the right thing to do. Homes still can be sold. We are very much restricted, and some of you, of course, some states and some localities have different rules. Stay on top of it because these things fluctuate. They change all the time, which is normal. But business still can be done. It can still be done. You can still help people. The second thing you do is start amassing database of leads. That will require sources, and it can be anyone. If you can. I know some states you can't cold call right now, as even that is now fluctuating and it's changing, so stay on top of it. But do the best you can with what you have. Where can you get leads right now? I tell you who's in trouble right now, who can use some guidance and some support is for sell-by owners. That's one group, and they're still out there. They need you. Start amassing leads. Do communication, marketing, and any type of marketing and advertising is communication. Do that. Because even though there'll be a bunch of people who say, well, shit, not right now. That's normal. That's okay. If their conditions and circumstances and life where they are now allows them to wait it out, that's fine. If that's the best solution for them at the moment, that's cool. They'll be ready later. And I tell you, the agent they're going to pick will be the agent who was the guiding force, who was the confident, competent, centered, composed, compassionate guide through all this. Because by then you're going to have such a strong bond and relationship with them by offering advice, offering support, offering sometimes just a word of encouragement. That by the time they are ready, and that can be a few months from now, that can be a year from now, who knows? You're going to clean up. And a new generation and a new wave of rock stars will emerge from all this who will be unstoppable and who will have so much business, it's going to be unbelievable. And it's all based on communication, relationships, nurturing. So use the channels that are available. If you can text, text. If you can send video, send video. Mass video, do a mass video. Postcards, letters, market updates, handwritten notes, phone calls. Do the best you can with what you have. Do the best you can with what you have. And then you combine good message with repetition, creates familiarity. Repetition, good message, familiarity, trust. That's how it works. Is this helpful? Yeah? All right. Lucia is here with us. And he says, you're absolutely right. Where there is a will, there's always a way. There's always a way. You're absolutely right, Lucia. There's always a way. There's always a way. There's always a way. Check your MLS. There are still new listings. There are still new pendings. There are still new closed. So there's business happening right now. You can have some of that. Is it more challenging? Absolutely. And please, I don't even need to stress this out. You're smart people. Don't do anything stupid that would jeopardize your health or your prospects' health or your family's health. You follow the guidelines. You do what is the right thing to do. But that doesn't mean you cannot help people. You cannot get paid. The business hasn't stopped. Because friends, unlike many other industries, they're completely shut down. You can't really shut down long-term real estate. People still need a place to live. People still need to move. And especially now, and it is unfortunate, but you mark my words, because of the economy, we will take a hit. Now, real estate may not be related directly to the recession. Just because the economy may hit the recession doesn't mean real estate will. They're connected, but it's not directly affected. In other words, the economy may take a dip, but real estate does not have to necessarily. You with me? Nobody really knows where this is going to go. Nobody knows. So be careful who you listen to and what you believe and what you focus on. So here's what I know. There will be always people who need to buy. There will always people who need to rent. There will be always people who need to sell. There will always people who need to invest. There will always be people who need to do something. And with the layoffs, things will happen where people will say, oh shit, we got to sell. We got to move. There's a better job opportunity there. There's this, there's that. There are all kinds of conditions that will happen in people's lives who 3, 4, 6 months ago had no intention of selling or moving, who will have to do it now. And guess who they will need? Competent, confident, compassionate guide who can make sense out of all this noise. And boy, is there a lot of noise out there right now. Who can guide them through it? Who can, through very centered, compassionate way, look at their situations and say, based on what you guys told me, here's what we can do. These are the solutions I have for you. You tell me what works best. And you walk them through it. You ask questions, you communicate. You find out what is the circumstance and conditions, where are they, what are they trying to do, and what is the best course of action. Just like a doctor, just like a lawyer, just like a dentist, just like a CPA, just like any other professional who makes a lot of money, you will be there for them, solving their problem. Okay? So there's always a way. You're absolutely right. Amardeep is here with us saying, thank you, Borino. Always good stuff. Let me make it a little bigger so you guys can see. Let's see here. Can we make it bigger? I guess not. Here we go. I just want to make the text a little bigger. All right. Light says, I've met with at least 6 FSBOs over the last 4 or 5 weeks, but none have asked me to list them despite giving them some decent value and following up. I'm clearly doing something wrong. What is it? Like, that's a good question. So let's talk specifics. You talk to FSBOs, keeping the social distance, of course, and they have not asked you to list. They will never, hardly ever will they ask you to list. That just won't happen. So here's the question. You have a for sale by owner. Have they listed with somebody else? Yes, you screwed up. Have they listed at all? Are they still trying on their own? You're doing it right. So here's the difference. FSBOs do not want to list, obviously. They want to save money. They want to do it their way. But there will come a point where they realize this was a bad idea. We should not be doing this. This is not working, especially in this side of the market. That's where the decision comes. And they will decide one of two things. Either we're going to keep the damn thing, we're not going to sell, or we're going to hire an agent. Now, third option, of course, is they can rent it out. But let's say that's off the table. Let's say it's only we stay if we can't sell on our own, or we hire an agent. This is where you come in. The way you do that is, from the beginning, most agents are positioned as needy, desperate, want the listing. Yes, they're trying to be helpful, but there's always the ulterior motive, the agenda is there. And you know how you can tell when somebody is really kind and nice to you, but underneath you can tell they're trying to sell you something or they have some other agenda or need? That's what pushes people off, especially for sole owners are very sensitive to that because they get hit by so many agents so poorly and badly who recite these same scripts. It's pretty pathetic. So where you come in, you, instead of doing all that, genuinely, authentically help them. And you say, you know what, Jim? Good on you. Trying to sell on your own and saving $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 makes perfect sense. It makes perfect logical sense. If it works out for you and you can do this on your own, more power to you. Some people can pull it off. Not many, but some do. 8% of the homes sold last year were for sole owners like you guys. So there is a small chance. Let's see if I can help you. And you genuinely provide help, guidance, because during that process, you're establishing three things. You're establishing that you're an expert, that you're competent, you know what you're talking about. You're establishing confidence. How you're talking to the seller is not needy, low status behavior. Oh, please list with me, I need a listing. It is high status agent, like maybe we'll work together, maybe we won't. We'll see, but I'm here to help. And you're also displaying compassion. You see it from the seller's perspective, because think about it from their perspective. If they could save $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 or whatever the commission is in your area, wouldn't that make sense to do so? Now, you and I know it's a bad idea. You and I have data they don't have, and even if you present that data, they will feel like you're just trying to pressure them to list at the beginning. So rather than doing that, you build relationship, you build connection. Let them go through the process. Now, and this is important, this is why the communication is so important. What you do through that process is you're going to determine where they are in that process. Are they at the beginning? Very optimistic, they're going to do it themselves? Because here's how it works. When they start the process, they're at 100% right here. Confidence is high. We're going to sell on our own, right? And as the time goes by, week 2, week 3, some buyers don't show up. But one is really interested. They show up at the open house, but then they cancel, change their mind. Their confidence goes down. Until they reach this critical point right here. And this distance is determined by their motivation. And it can be a few days, weeks, or even months. Months. And it really depends on their urgency, on their motivation. But they reach that point. But you don't establish your confidence, competence, and compassion here. You establish it here. And you just nurture it throughout this process by being helpful and cool. And through repetition, you keep in touch. So the fact that you get this listing here is established through this process. There is not one single point. It's not at the beginning. It's not at the end. It's a process. You with me so far? All right. So the way you do that is throughout that process, you determine where they are by asking them questions. What have you guys thought about if the property doesn't sell? What are you going to do? What is plan B? Are you going to keep it? Are you going to dramatically reduce the price? Because here's the thing, Jim. You guys have been selling for a month now. That means that property should have been sold twice now. See, if this was one of my listings, I would be really nervous because my average days on the market is 14 days tops, max. So what's your plan? And then have a genuine open conversation. Now notice the way I have this debate, this discussion with them is not based on neediness. I'm not pressuring or guiding them into something. No, I'm just exploring, and I want them to have a chance to kind of sound off and feed me back their response. Okay? And then I ask what's called a bridge. Here's how it goes. Now you have to be very careful on wording because you don't want to mislead, you want to lie, you want to be 100% honest with them. But here's what you ask. Well, Jim, let me ask you a question. What if there was a possibility? What if there was a chance? Now, I'm not saying there is. I don't want to make any false promises. But what if there was a chance for you guys to net about the same or even more, put more cash in your pocket, even after paying a commission to an agent you trust? Would you consider it? Would you explore it? Let them answer. Now, I'm not saying they're going to get more money. I'm saying, what if there was a possibility? Because if you do everything right up to that point, here is usually, often, you're going to get this reaction. Well, how would you do that? Well, how does that, I don't understand. How? Curiosity. That's the hook. What do you mean more money? Because here's what you and I know. For sell by owner, statistically, and there are statistics, documents, if you have the FISBO system, you get access to the data from National Association of Realtors. FISBOs, on average, net less money than properties listed because they don't have as much representation, marketing, negotiation, all these reasons. So you and I know that. So the FISBO says, well, how would you do that? And you say, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we grab a cup of coffee, sit down for 20, 25, 30 minutes maybe, and I'll go over everything with you. There's no pressure. It's not like a gimmick to list with me or anything, but it is a good information and I think you will find helpful. And at the end, who knows? Maybe we'll shake hands and decide to work together, maybe not. But I promise you, whether we decide to work together or not, you're going to walk away with a lot of good information. So let's get together tomorrow at 4:30 in my office. Stop by and we'll chat. And that's it. And then I do a FISBO listing presentation where I present him the facts. But I do it again with compassion, where I'm saying, I understand what you're trying to do, but here are the facts. All of this is part of FISBO, by the way. If you have it, then you know what I'm talking about. There are these slides you show them where you demonstrate this is why people list. Because here's the bottom line. Think about it logically. If going for sell by owner was really such a good idea, and it was so profitable, and it was easy, everybody would be doing it. There'd be no need for a good real estate agent. You know what I mean? But that's not the case. That hasn't been the case. On the contrary, the numbers are going down. It started at 15%, now they're down to 8%. It's getting harder and harder to sell on your own. And you're going to net less money. And on average, it's about $47,000 to $48,000 nationwide. It's a lot of money. Now, some areas are different than others, of course. The numbers fluctuate a little bit. But overall, it just makes more sense to list with an agent. That's how you do it. And if you do it confidently, some will say yes, some will say not now, some will say no, some will say, jump to the lake. Jump in the lake, don't want to do this. Doesn't matter. If you do this, if you have 6 for sale by owners, my expectations from the students who study with me for FISBO system is to do at least 25% conversion. That means out of 4 for sale by owners on my follow-up, at least 1 should be a listing. And if it's not, you broke the system somewhere. We can fix that. In the process, something got busted. And you know what it's usually? Right there. It's usually the communication. Okay? So that's the whole secret. That's how you do it. Is that helpful? Lythe. That's a cool name. Is it Irish? What's the name? That's really cool. Amardeep really likes it. Derek is here with us. All right. Land Voice, we have lots of realtors asking for our pre-foreclosure leads right now. Christopher, that's a good point. Yes. And if the market will start tanking, it's possible. Pre-foreclosure may be a way to go, helping people avoid trouble. Stacy says, this is awesome and what so many of us need. I did 2 Zoom meetings with sellers and FaceTime with a buyer last week. One of the Zoom sellers listed then, pro picks the next day, and we went under contract this AM. Boring is spot on. Stacy! That is brilliant. That makes me happy. Fantastic. See, business goes on. You can do this. And I will teach you the technology, I will teach you the communication. Zoom communication is slightly different, the presentation is slightly different, but you can still show comms, you can still show pictures, all of that you can do on Zoom. And the free version works just fine. I mean, we have the pro version because I teach a whole bunch of you, like when I do the boot camp and all that. But you can do that. Class is coming. Look for it. We're going to have a good time. Awesome, Stacy. Well done. Nancy, greetings from Canada. Same back to you. Very nice. Pamela. My dear Pamela. Rockstar from down Florida. Don't fall for the mindset of scarcity. Focus on abundance. New listing on Sunday has multiple offers today, even with all this crap that is happening now. There you have it, guys. That's the evidence right now. It really is. Now, I'm not saying keeping clean focus is easy, but here's what helps. Follow these simple rules that I'm applying, and I struggled just like you this morning. True story. I spent over an hour on social media just scrolling. I just caught up in something, and you know how it is. You do one thing, then you jump to the next thing, and the next thing you know, it was like an hour later. I'm like, oh shit. It was like 10:40. Fuck. I spent over an hour just, my mind, it almost like it shut down the conscious, logical, the finger, you gotta go work part. So I'm very much on the same boat with many of you. But here's what I apply in my life and what may help you. I divide my tasks into smaller chunks now. 25 minutes work, 5 minutes break. 25 minutes work, 5 minutes break. It's the Pomodoro technique. That seems to be working really well. That gets me back in the groove. That gets me disciplined. Moving, even if it just means go for a half an hour for a nice walk. This is good enough. Get some fresh air, half an hour to an hour. Unfortunately, my dear Orange Theory is closed. What are you going to do? So some movement, reading good stuff. I counterbalance all the flood of the crap flying at us from all places, including social media, news, and all that. And some of it is helpful. Some of it is important to know. Most of it, not necessary at all. A lot of it is just politicking, bullshit, negative crap that will really just drag you down. Does nothing for you. So I balance it out. I'm reading really good stuff now. Podcasts, good music, good books, good uplifting information. I'm listening to Abraham Hicks right now. I'm reading Atomic Habits, really good book. I need to counterbalance that. It's just like a diet. When you load up on crab, you got to do some salad. Like tonight, we're going to have salad because yesterday we had a big feast and heavy meal that was lovely, but you got to watch it. So that's what I do. I keep my communication channels open with my friends, with my family, constantly pinging everybody, texting. I was exchanging texts with my man Tristan yesterday, Tristan Amata. Some of you, which brings me to my important point. It's easy to feel physically isolated. It's easy to feel mentally isolated. It's easy to feel isolated in the business. Please reach out. Please reach out. Whether it's posting here on Rockstars or on YouTube or send me an email, or if you want to talk, just reach out. Reach out. My job is to support all of us to get through this, because here's what I found. When I can help you guys, it helps me. Just like when you can help your prospects, your clients, like Pamela helped clients through very difficult. Imagine how scared and nervous and frightened these people must have been to decide to put the house on the market. Imagine what kind of conditions and circumstances they might be in. And then somebody, and Pamela, you are an amazing rock star, comes in with confidence and says, don't worry, we'll get through this. Here's our next step. Here's our next step. If I can help you, that helps me. If you can help people around you, that helps you, whether it's your friends, family, your prospects, your leads, your community. So do that. Guide them through it. Guide them. Be the guide that will help you as well. And it feels good, Take charge and be cool and helpful to someone who really now looks up to you. Pays off big time, and not just in commissions. All right. One more question from I had a FISBO call me, frustrated at 10 p.m. I guess that was the sign for me to ask to sit down with him. Very helpful. My name is also Arab. Oh, it's Arabic. I see. When I make my first closing, I'll get your program. Would love to have you. Would love to have you. But the point of these broadcasts, I know I mentioned my programs like the FISBO Arena and the boot camp and all that, because I want you to know they're there. But I really don't do this to sell you anything. That's not my intention. It really is to inspire and to guide you. Now, if you say, shit, get me some system where I can just go from A to Z through the whole thing, it's available. All right, guys. So the class on video and incorporating tools like Zoom and FaceTime into your business, that's coming. You're going to have a good time with it. I promise it's going to be great. Hannah and I will be teaching it. Some of it will be live. Some of it we'll show you some clips and some videos. You're going to have a great time together. It will be not difficult for you to implement these things, because I'm definitely not a technical guy. Hannah, between you and I, she's not technical very much either. Don't tell her I said that. But these tools, like I'll show you how to edit videos right on your phone, how you can do it, or you can hire somebody very inexpensively who can do it for you. It's all doable. Our daughter, we have a 14-year-old daughter, she now does some of our videos. She has the time, we have the videos, we have the opportunity. Magical combination, right? So if a 14-year-old can do it, all of you can do it. It's not that difficult. It's better if you can outsource it, but if you can't, be resourceful. Maybe your kids can help you right now, or maybe you can do it right now. It's a cool skill just to learn at the beginning before you can hand it off. All of that is coming. Editing videos, posting videos, how to get traction on your videos, how to make them visible, content that you should publish, all of that. It's going to be a good class. So my hope, I don't have a locked-in date when we're going to launch this, but my hope is starting next week. Cool? So it gives you something more to do than just binging on Netflix. So we've been doing the same. Saw a good movie with Mark Wahlberg last night. That was pretty cool. He plays an ex-cop who gets thrown in jail for 5 years. Don't remember the name of it. Maybe you've seen it too. Good movie. Lots of action. It was fun. All right, guys. Let's see. I want to make sure I answered all your questions. Jacqueline has a good question. Let me just bring it into focus. Jacqueline says, Coach, when we call them the new FISBOs because we are to be physically distancing, how do we view the property? Jacqueline, that's a really good question. Can you still view the property? I think you can if it is safe. As long as you keep the distance, maybe wear a face mask, put a gloves on. That's what Hannah does when they stage now. And you keep the distance from the seller, I think it's still possible. If you feel it's safe. Now again, I can't give you medical, legal, or statewide guidelines. I can tell you my perspective. Could you still see people with the mask on? Would that be safe? I think so. I think it would be okay, if it's possible. or if it's feasible. Now, if you feel it's not, why not have the seller grab their phone, the FISBO, and says, hey, walk me through the property. Pretend I'm a buyer, give me a tour. Let's see how good of a salesperson you are. You know what I mean? That's another option. So you choose what you feel is best. It's a good question. Now, here's the important part. No matter how you're going to do this, do it. Because remember what I say, you can find reasons or you can find results. Solutions, if you're looking for solutions, you're going to figure out a way how. If you're just looking for reasons, I know, Jackie, you are a go-getter, this does not apply to you, and most of you guys, my rock stars. Don't look for excuses or reasons why something wouldn't work. There's always a way. If it's unsafe to enter somebody's property, which it may be, again, I can't give you legal or medical advice, there's another way. Like 2 months ago, it would be impossible to Hannah to figure out a way how to do a consultation, a staging consultation remotely. It turns out there is a way, and it worked really well. The client was really happy. Hannah was really happy. The client got good advice. Everybody wins. Make sense? So it's doable. It's totally doable.